Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. In today's episode of Growing Generations podcast, I have a very special guest, Danny, with me from the GrowUp Channel. So, Danny is actually a gardener I have done a couple collaborations with in the past. And so, I definitely wanted to bring him along again for this live stream so we could go ahead and discuss about growing from seed, because I definitely feel like that is one of the most important, if not the most important topic that's discussed a lot in the garden industry, especially since when it comes down to beginner gardeners, starting seeds can be a little bit difficult if they don't have the proper guide to start them. So,
Yeah,
as we've discussed beforehand, I wanted to bring a guest gardener to speak about it because me, myself, and I'm not a huge seed starter. I am not a huge fan of starting
yeah,
seeds because I just never have the success doing it. I sometimes do, I sometimes don't. It kind of depends on how Florida wants to treat me. So I really don't have
mm,
the best success. However, Danny, on the other hand, I know
yeah.
starts seeds left and right. So, Danny, starting off with our very first question, what is definitely the easiest plant that you have grown from seed?
Brassicas, probably brassicas for me in the UK. This is not like a cocky thing and stuff, but I have kind of mastered the seed sowing a little bit. It's probably different here because it's cooler in the season. When we start, I was off in spring, but I start seed sowing from I'd say January time. And then February, and then March hits here in the UK, and it's just full steam ahead. But we tend to use like a good compost mix. We wouldn't use like something too nutrient rich like worm castings or something like that. Brilliant for feeding plants, but start off with you want something a bit nutrient deficient, so that because the seeds have already got all that energy inside that little um, pod anyway. But I tend to use things like this. So these little small trays, rather than using a whole huge tray, I know that I can control the environment with these with like little mini cloches or because I see a lot of people trying to do like a seed bed and stuff. That has never worked for me because I like to be able to move these around. So if it becomes the weather changes or it's going to be too hot or too cold, I can actually just pick this up, bring it home. Because obviously mine's not in my actual garden; it's in an allotment, which is kind of like your community sort of gardens, but we're not sharing the bed; we're sharing the growing area. So we've got an allotted amount of space. Um, but yeah, I tend to use things like this. And I actually, at a garden show recently, I actually had this made to me by another YouTuber, and it's actually made out of Lego. So, and you actually, when you put the compost in, you actually just use this thing. It's just made of Lego. It's just like a Lego base and it's all glued on. And then when you push this in, it leaves the depressions inside each, so they're all spaced out equally. And you just drop a seed in each one of those. How cool is
So
that? A
that's
Lego.
very clever.
Yeah, no, right? Yeah, but yeah, I think it's more about sowing less than more because a lot of people think, oh, I'll just scatter loads of seeds as well on top of the tree and hope, oh, well, I'll just throw away, the majority of them. But I think when that's a waste of seed, and also it's competing as well later on for light and things like that. And you have to thin out when by using just I tend to go by the rule of doing three times as much. So if I want to I normally use one of these for each gardening bed. So these all represent one garden bed. So for each garden bed, I'll do about 10 to 12 cabbages. So I would put in here about 30 seedlings because I still will remove some, but you don't want to be putting 100 in there and then it's a waste. You might as well just put in about 30 seedlings and then disregard 20. Take the best 10. So that's how I do it anyway. I keep
Yeah.
it moist.
Yeah, definitely. So Shawnee
Mm.
Girl says that she started lettuce, green cabbage, red cabbage, beets, maybe broccoli. I honestly didn't label anything. No, that's very much how things work. Something that I always tell gardeners is to label their seedlings because I've done it myself where I'm like, I'm gonna remember, and then I completely forget what's growing.
Absolutely. I keep labels. I'm not even joking. I keep labels everywhere. I even keep some on my desk here. So there's labels. They're,
You're
they're everywhere. They're
ready.
literally, I find them everywhere in my laptop case. It's a pet hate for me when people don't label and stuff. And it's something that I really, really am vigilant on because you have to treat those seedlings in different ways as well. So if you don't label, the biggest mistake a gardener, especially new gardener, says, I'll remember what's in that tray. And you won't. You'll blink and you'll completely forget what was in that tray. So I mean, you don't have to buy plant labels. You can just cut up like a milk carton and stuff and write labels and things. You don't have to. A lot of people use, like in the UK, they use like I don't know if you have it there. It's basically just for like electrical wires. It's like it's called an insulation tape. So it's quite
Yes,
so we can tend to cut bits of that off and put it on top of on the front of here, and then you can write on it, and then you could just remove it. So you don't have to use a plant
that's smart.
label. You could just put it on the front. It's clever, isn't it?
Yes, very smart.
So yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah,
definitely. For me, I think the only plants I have the best success growing from seed is usually beans. That I like throw seeds in the ground and that will give every single time.
yeah,
I think the other plant that I had success growing from seeds was broccoli or brassicas. I love
mm,
growing brassicas. I have to say, like I've said multiple times, something I absolutely love is growing brassicas year after year
yeah,
because they do so well in my garden. I don't know why. Like I hear gardeners with their horror stories on cabbage worms and how bad their brassicas do,
mm,
but then I'm like, I never experienced any disease or any pests with mines.
yeah,
None of them. And that's that I never treated them in anything. And I harvested some really good stuff because something my good friend over at David the Good channel, something he was
yeah,
explaining as well was that here in Florida, we're limited to very big vegetables like the big head cabbages. We can't grow those here because those require a super long period of growing time and we don't have that. And so
yeah,
we kind of are limited to like the regular sized cabbages, which is I'm happy about, and I always have success growing them as well as broccoli. And that's
yeah,
definitely a topic I want to touch about Florida gardening, and I actually have someone in mind for that
mm,
because Florida gardening is wild. Like that's something we were talking about the other day that
yeah,
you may think, oh, we're in the US, everybody kind of gardens the same. No, we don't. Florida
no,
is like its own little thing. Like it's nothing similar. The conditions are different. The soil is different. Everything is different. So I want to give a huge shout out to Jay Dixon, our moderator. She is amazing, amazing. So thank you once again, Jay, for joining with us. We also have South Florida Sunshine Tropicals, my fellow gardener here in South Florida. I actually came to realize that she told me that she actually used to live around my area,
oh wow.
which was really, really interesting. And so we have many things in common as well. So let's see what
Mm.
she says.
You actually answered a question as well, because I remember once asking Jay, and maybe on one of my lives, was Jay a male or female? And
That's
Jay
something
replied
else
back,
question a lot. I hear Gardner Scott say she's so like
well, Jay always replies back to me saying, I'll be whatever you need me to be on that live. And I'm like, the question was never answered. But yeah,
I
Jay,
don't know. I'm going with what I heard Ms. Gardner Scott say. But Sinead Gross
yeah,
says, I grow seedlings of brassicas, but when I put them in the ground, they don't grow. It's been great.
mm.
Sarcasm. I
Yeah,
can
so
see
I see a lot of people trying to direct sow brassicas as well. Like we have massive issues with slugs here, so I don't do it. If anyone's seen my channel, I have like seed trays about this big, and they're all module. So I grow them in here first, and then I just transplant them out then into each module with some good compost then, and they'll grow in there until the plants are about 6 to 8 inches big tall, and then I plant them out. And the one thing that a lot of people do with brassicas wrong, and then they have issues with them, especially for like broccoli, cauliflower, and things like that, and cabbages, is they don't firm that soil down. So I cannot stress to you enough. People think that you need nice, light, fluffy soil, but people will see me walking on my beds, and I'm trying to make that soil as firm as I can. Then I plant it in, because brassicas actually don't want to spread their roots out like most plants. They actually want to try and have them restrained, and they
Mhm.
feel safer having them all locked together, and it holds the plant from what we call plant rock. So if the wind blows on them, then they start stressing because they're being shook around, and they start panicking, and then they start producing a seed flower head instead. So yeah, you want them to kind of chill out a bit in the garden. So just make sure that and I don't know if you have these in America. I'm not sure. We have something called cabbage butterfly white. They lay their eggs all over our cabbages. That's why all our beds are all netted with like a white or a blue net.
Yeah,
It's the
they have
stock
those
though.
here too. They have those here. I've never seen them personally, but I have seen multiple
Yeah.
gardens cover
But
that.
we don't have some of the pests you have. Like we don't have those squash beetles and the is it horn grubs or something that eat the
Oh,
tomato
hornworm.
stuff. We don't have none of that nonsense
You're
over here.
lucky. You're lucky.
Nothing eats a
You're
tomato
lucky.
plant over in the UK. So if you want
They're
to
so
grow good
ugly.
tomatoes, just come here. We
They're
don't have
so
no pests.
I
No pests for tomatoes.
When I grow tomatoes, I usually never deal with it, but when I do, it's very rare. But when I do, I kill them very cruelly because those things they come back.
You
I grab them and I drown them. I literally like grab a stick and I make sure that they drown.
you know if I said that on my channel, I'd be taken off the air. We would
Not
yeah,
because
in the UK we don't it's very frowned upon if people use like pesticides
now listen.
um, and murdering
Here in the
animals and stuff.
US,
I let the butterflies out. If I catch a butterfly in my polytunnel, I let it outside because I just think
boom, done.
they're only trying to do what they want to do. That they're not actually trying to ruin your crops. But I don't want them leaving loads of caterpillars on my veg because
No.
I've grown them for myself.
Like
But yeah,
gardeners here will understand that hornworms decimate your tomato plants and they don't.
yeah.
They do a huge.
Well, I got American viewers, and they always say things like, "Watch out for the squash beetles," and I'm like, "We
I've never
don't
had
even."
squash beetles. I think it's mainly because I can't grow squash, so
Yeah.
that's why I don't really never
But I
experiment.
did see that. Well, obviously, I know that you can grow bananas. But have you ever seen? I've got a banana plant on the fig and olive plot, one of my allotment plots. But people always say like, "Oh, does it grow bananas?" We actually don't want it to grow bananas, which sounds really, really strange.
So offensive.
So, so that plant has been there for about 3 years, and I've never seen a banana on it. It just stays and just gets bigger and bigger, and then we get pups, and then we have them more for decoration. It's very rare that we would ever get bananas here. You'd have to have a massive heat wave year for bananas, and I don't want it to have bananas because once it has bananas, the plant dies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
we don't
what
want that.
happens is once the banana gives fruit, it will usually send out pups. So the plant doesn't.
Yeah,
It will send out pups. You have to cut
it's
out the
different
main
here.
pup.
I was like every 2 or 3 years, once it gets quite big, it will send out a few pups around the outside.
For
And
me,
we
if a banana tree does not give fruit, it's getting ripped out. It's getting ripped out.
no, and mine's part of the sculpture of the plot. It's not there for bananas. I don't want it to grow bananas.
Like I have to because I'm a food forester. I have like a variegated
Yeah.
banana, so the leaves are like variegated, very very
Mm,
nice. And the fruit is variegated too. So I'm like, as long as you
yeah.
give fruit and you're pretty, you're staying. And
I
I
get it
literally
though.
travel hours to get that because that's
Yeah,
rare.
because I suppose if I had a banana, if I had an apple tree or a cherry tree and it wasn't producing cherries, then I probably would as well because the space is limited that I've got, and so I get it. But for me, the banana plant is just a big garden plant for us. It's not for us to eat
Yeah.
fruit off. And I wouldn't want if I seen it growing bananas, I wouldn't be excited. I'd be upset. I'd be upset that my plant is now going to die, and they're expensive over here to buy. I don't know how much a banana plant is where you are, but where we are, they're I'd say about $70 for a small plant.
Like US?
Yeah,
Eh!
yeah, they're
That
really
is
expensive. So
wild.
I paid. Let me see how much I paid.
That's very offensive to us. Here, you can literally ask your next door neighbor, "Hey, can you give me a plant of your banana?"
Yeah, so I paid for a small plant about this big.
Mhm.
Well, probably about this big.
A pup.
I paid $68 for that. Yeah,
That is.
I know.
You got ripped
So,
off, my friend.
no, that's how much they are for a nice
Oh,
established banana
goodness.
plant.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Here they cost, I think it depends on the variety you get. So dwarf varieties are usually the common varieties like Cavendish. You'll pay like $20, $15 based on how big the plant is.
Mm.
Pups are cheap. They're like $5. And you can
Yeah,
even
they're a bit cheaper
go to
here.
your
They're
next door neighbor and
$20.
be like, "Hey, can you give me a banana pup?" And they will give you a banana pup. I think the rarest you could go is like a Florida variegated variety or a Musa AA, which is a
Yeah,
burgundy variegated one. Those cost
yeah.
like up to $200. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm sticking to the ones I have.
We
But
I think ours is called Musa Baju, maybe. maybe called a Musa Baju,
I
maybe.
have no
I
idea.
think so. But I did actually make my money back on that though, because I bought it. Not, I didn't have it at the allotment then. It was for my garden. I have about I've got about 10 outside now because I forgot to take the peppers off from the
Oh wow.
outside. So it is turned into a jungle plant. But I sold a lot of the peps the
You sold.
following year once I had them to make my money back on. It's
Of
banana
course.
plants are an investment, you know. I mean, $70 for a banana plant. I mean that, but I did, and they're not common here. So I had to drive. I had to drive about an hour and a half away to go and get one from one of the coastal areas where someone had them in their garden. I think you can get them a little bit more common now. If certain places you can get them, but you wouldn't buy a banana plant quite easily, I don't think. Yeah.
Well, here, David the Good, when he came down to Fort Lauderdale and he had reached out to me to do a series on my channel, because I've been following him for a while now since I started permaculture. And then when I received the email from him that he wanted to collab with me, he invited me to his childhood home. And
I
his
remember this, yeah.
exactly like mine's. And then when I was explaining to him about the bananas and whatnot, he actually gave me a banana pup of his own. And that banana was the first banana I planted in my garden. And it is phenomenal. It's doing great.
Mm,
It has 2 racks of bananas on it right now. I have like over 10 banana different varieties in my garden because I love bananas. And so I have like
yeah.
a crap ton of racks of bananas that I'm going to be harvesting. But hey, I wanted to give a huge shout out to David from Bowtie Life Gardens. David is an amazing person, great channel. Check him out if you aren't
Yeah.
subscribed. Most likely we all are
He
here.
comments. I recognize that channel name as well on mine, so it's nice to see
He's
people
very,
are.
very nice. He's actually going to be on the show
Oh, good. That's good.
after Gardner Scott as well.
Mm.
So,
Well, I think I told you, didn't I? Gardner Scott actually came to my actual garden in the summer, well, in the spring. So he came over to the UK, toured around to a few other YouTubers as well, and then had some food and some drinks with us. And then we went to the garden shows the following day. And it was it's really strange to say, but you watch someone's channel and when you meet them, it's exactly the same. You know, they're no different, regardless if they've got 1 million subscribers or 5 subscribers. I was still joking with saying like, oh, you can clean the table up afterwards, and and yeah, he's got such a great sense of humor, and he had a look around the gardens, and yeah, it was really nice to meet him. He's a really nice guy in real life as well.
yeah, for me, like I don't have really a local community here in Florida because the only really big gardeners I've seen here in Florida have been David the Good, in which he's actually not in Florida. He used to be, but he has Florida content, and Pete Canaris. That is all I
I
seen.
don't know
I
that.
don't know. He's a food forester as well, but
Okay.
that's all I've really known. And they don't
Yeah.
live around my area. I don't really know other than South Florida Sunshine Tropicals. I don't have gardeners around my area to say, hey, let's meet up and let's go, do
Yeah.
videos, because
Yeah, I
you
am very lucky in that way though. Like I'm quite central, and there's quite a few around me. Like a couple of weeks. Well, it was about a month ago. I met up with Tony from Simplified Gardening, and we went for breakfast at a garden centre. I mean, but me and Tony have been friends for years now. Well, I'd already had my channel, but I mean, we just become friends. He lives about 45 minutes away, and we both caught COVID at a garden centre. So we came back, and we were both like, "Oh my god, we're so rough." He paid for breakfast as well, by the way. So I think that's fair, because he's got a bigger channel than me.
Yeah, definitely. Like I see all these gardeners and I'm amazed by them, but then it's like the community of Florida gardeners online, like on YouTube, is so tiny that
Yeah.
only 2 big gardeners actually made it onto the industry where you're like, oh my god, like you recognize them. But like
Yeah.
the smaller channels like mine and others that kind of are trying to make it, but
Yeah.
it's harder to make it there because us Floridians, the gardening style is so specific that
Yeah.
we can't tell. Like for example, I can't, if I make a video on growing bananas and stuff like that, that's more Florida centered because People
Yeah.
love that. And my Florida is more for Florida viewers. But let's say if I make a video on like growing hydrangeas, that's gonna be for upper states, but I can't grow them. They
It
suck.
it
They
is a
die.
little bit like that here, though. Like there is, there's a lot of northerner gardeners, and they tend to do like some collaborations together more than us southerners. So we get warm. I'd say we get warmer weather earlier than them, so we have that benefit, I suppose. But sometimes it's better not to meet your idol, because I mean, sometimes you meet a YouTuber and you think,
Listen,
God, they are nothing. They are nothing. But
right.
I always get.
And this is
I
a
always get people say to me, "Oh, you're taller." They always say you're taller in real life than I thought you'd be, because I'm actually 183 centimeters, and people always think that I'm going to be really short. And yeah, but I was shocked with Garner Scott, because Garner Scott is really tall as well. So yeah.
There was a story my previous business partner explained to me, because
Hmm.
she, when at my old nursery, because I no longer, cause I don't know if you knew I had a nursery in Parkland at one point.
Hmm.
Yeah, I left that nursery. That nursery didn't really took off, and so I
Okay.
left it. It was There's a whole story behind it. Well, my business partner at the time, she has a very good landscape, and I was the one who developed that landscape completely when I
Yeah.
started. But there was a time when I left, she had a professional gardener. I believe he does have a channel too, in which he considers himself a professional gardener. I don't know, I forgot the name already, but
Ooh.
he had came to her property, right? And then he had told her, no, he didn't even make it to the property, as a matter of fact. He had told her that I think he was going to charge her $500 for him to just visit, and then another $500 for his wife to tag along with him. I'm like, listen, okay? I'm like, I know if you're going to a property like that, them people got money, but like, just for a visit, like,
You
that.
know what?
Come on now.
I'm going to be professional now and not mention names, but I have actually gone to you. I've gone to other garden YouTubers, and they've expected me to go there to work, and I was very shocked.
What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've gone to other YouTubers before in the past, and they kind of thought I was going there because to be, you know, in that presence, then maybe you should do a bit of work and stuff. But when they come to me, because I think Welsh hospitality is a bit better, I think that they always come to me and I always give them coffee, cake, cold drinks, and we just have a look around, and that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing about it.
That
But yeah. And I think it's just the way it is sometimes. People are different. And
There is some people who are very much different, because, like, for
yeah,
example, look at the good, like how you said, exactly like he's in his videos. There's like no difference
yeah.
at all, and he's an
I
amazing
think
person.
I think
Um,
if you have to pretend to be something different on your channel,
that's sad.
is exhausting, because when people meet me and they're like, oh, yeah, don't get me wrong, everyone has bad days, or they might see me, out, and I might be tired or whatever, but I generally am smiley most of the time, and I always have I been to Gaz Oakley's garden? That wasn't who I was talking about, by the way, but actually, coincidentally, Gaz Oakley actually lives about, I want to say 20 minutes from my house.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so he doesn't live far from me, and I believe I'm guessing that his father has a construction site which are actually working close by. So yeah, but Gaz seems like a really cool guy as well. He's done really well, and no, it wasn't him. I'm not saying who it was, because that's
It's trying to keep it
unprofessional.
professional.
You'll know who they are because they don't go on my lives.
Unfortunately, like when it comes down, because for example, there has been multiple gardeners. When I mean multiple, I mean like almost the majority of the gardeners I have collaborated with on my channel. You could go through and do the research yourself. They have not reached out to me again. I've reached out to them and they leave me on red. And these gardeners, I looked up to them. And there's a huge gardener who I
Yeah.
looked up to in this industry. And then when it came down to the nitty gritty, she was so rude. And I was
God.
like, you need a Kit Kat. Because
Yeah.
like you are like on level 10 right now, and I need you to bring it down. And keep in mind, I was a child at the time when when this happened.
Yeah.
And so like I had no interest in this person whatsoever after that. And then of course all these gardeners who think that they're so like their ego is so high that they're like we shouldn't collaborate with this gardener because he is at a younger spot than us. And like they're
Well,
it's
I remember years ago when I first started. Well, it was actually about the time when I met you. You remember when I was first starting
oh,
off and
yeah.
I didn't have a clue, and I remember reaching out to a YouTuber, and I remember them saying, like, I was just kind of like saying, be good if I watch your channel, it'd be good if we collab. And then they replied back saying, like, and personally, I wasn't upset by it, but I think they could have worded it better, where they replied back saying, like, you're too small. Come back when you're a bigger channel because there's
Mhm.
no benefit to me. I understand what they meant, but that was the words they said to me. And to a young YouTuber who first started, that can be soul destroying. And it was really upsetting because it was a bit like, um, you know, you're not good enough for me. Come back when you're better so I can benefit too.
Right.
And I always remember about, oh God, maybe a year or so ago, that same YouTuber emailed me saying, like, hey, we
What's
should do
up?
something. You've done really well. Your channel's done really well, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm actually 3 times bigger now. And that is nothing to be bragging about stuff, because
Right.
if you put the work in, and it can just happen sometimes. But you know what? I just kind of thought, I just replied back saying, thank you so much. But do you remember when you said to me 3 years ago, I said, that really did upset me. So kind of not do that again and come back to me when you're as big as, I didn't. I didn't say that part.
You do too
But
much.
yeah, I just think as a YouTuber, there's a reality check there. We are literally not celebrities. We're just people, just like every other gardener watching, but we just film it and we just put it on YouTube. So I don't think that people sometimes do think that people do want that fame and stuff. My goal isn't to have a huge channel. If I one day have a massive channel, then okay. But my goal isn't to be a full-time YouTuber. Some people it is, but to me, I like that. I like nursing. I like doing what I'm doing, and um, yeah, I probably always do that. But I think if that's their goal, that's fine. But to me, I just take every video as it comes. And I mean, I just think if you speak to, if someone meets you in the street and stuff, and they see you as more, they see you as famous, and I feel really awkward when they do it, because I met someone in a garden center about 3 weeks ago, and they were just like, "We loved your channel, blah blah," and then it was really, I find it not uncomfortable, but I feel it a bit unsettled, because I don't feel like I deserve for them to be saying, oh, I can't believe I met you and stuff, because
Where's your autograph?
yeah, so, I mean, that's daft, because I am literally just filming. I've got a garden just like you. I'm just filming it, but um, yeah, I
It's
just think
very complicated when it
I
comes
think
down to the
sometimes if
nitty-gritty. It
just
is
gardens should be all about just growing vegetables,
right.
growing flowers, and just having a nice. That's why I've got so much passion in having my live channel, encouraging smaller YouTubers and bigger YouTubers all to come together. I mean, sometimes I don't pick big YouTubers to just come on lives with other big YouTubers. I mean, I'll have Gardner Scott on with someone with like 400 subscribers, and that's
How
that's
you go.
okay. Why does it matter? Because they could
That's
actually
something I love.
teach Gardner Scott something one day. I mean, we don't know everything, so
Right.
stay humble,
And
people.
that's something definitely I agree with because there's been
Yeah.
gardeners multiple times in which I met them when they had just started. If not, their channels were at a lower part or they were lower than mine's. And then they got lucky and their channel boosted randomly. And now they're like, we don't know who you are. I'm like, okay.
I didn't do that to you. I'm joking.
And so a huge gardener I want to give a huge shout out to is Garden a Little. Actually, Garden a Little is the very first gardener I actually collaborated with. The
Oh,
very
wow.
first one. She's from Ohio. She's an amazing gardener. I'd recommend you checking her out. She just hit 1,000 subscribers the other day,
Oh,
and
well done.
congratulate her in. And she is also she recently became a mother too. And so that is
Oh,
something I
wow.
love because I've seen her since the beginning, and it's definitely a very exciting thing. So
Well,
make
do
sure
you
you
remember? Do you
follow.
remember when I first started? And I think you helped me get to my first 1,000, didn't you? Remember that? It was like I was on like 900 or something, and then you was just like, "Hey guys, let's let's get him to 1,000." And yeah, you just don't. I think both our goals is to hit 10K this year, right? I
Yes,
think
my goal is also to hit
you've gone up a little bit since the last live though, because I've seen. So
very,
you're at
very little.
637 now. 637. See,
Huh?
you're on. Uh, no, what did I write down? Yeah, what are you on right now? 637, right?
6,300.
Ah, okay. That's, I mean, it can go, it can
You, Danny?
fly. What?
How about you?
I, I don't know.
Don't you? I'll look for you right here.
I'm at 9,208.
See, there you go. Amazing.
Yeah.
You'll hit it. Wait, how much in a bit by? I say by the end of what? You'll hit it by this year. You'll definitely hit it by this year. Me, on the other hand, is like has to be a miracle of God for me.
No, that's not true though, because you just don't know how it goes. Because I've had YouTubers who are on like 2,000, 3,000, and they just get one of those videos that just fly.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you get those videos, they're not always good for your channel because they bring in a lot of people to watch your channel that might not watch again. That's the only thing. So
That's the
yeah,
thing. See, like my views
it's not always.
hardly,
It's
and
not always about sub count though. That's where people go, "Oh, you're on 9." I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered if I'm on 9,000, or it'd be nice if I hit like a round number of 10,000. But I'm not bothered. I'm really, honestly, I'm generally not. I'm not bothered because it's more about the views. That's where I'm.
that's where it lies. Yeah,
That's where it lies.
yeah. So
Sub count is just a vanity thing.
yeah, because I feel like it's just like the numbers are so inaccurate. Because like, although I'm sitting at 6,300 subscribers, my views are terrible. And then when I go into the analytics, only 30 or 40 of my subscribers are actually watching the video. I'm like, okay,
isn't it shocking?
crazy.
So mine is the same though. So I don't think I've ever told anyone this, but mine's pretty much similar. Well, similar in ratio. So say for instance, let's go to this video. So this was a video like a week or so ago, and it had 6,400 views, and out of my sub count, 646. So it's about 10%. So that's, yeah, it's strange how a lot of people are not actually subscribed. I would love it if they did, but yeah, it is what it is. You just have to ride the waves. But I like the fact that new people come on. Thanks, South Florida Sunshine Tropicals. They just subscribe. So that's really kind of you.
Awesome.
And yeah, well, Emmanuel, I think personally, if you comment on other people's channels more, they might actually help you promote more. I'm just saying.
Listen, you don't even know.
Just saying.
There's this gardener who shouted me out. He's actually the most followed gardener on this industry right now. He actually shouted me out when he hit 1 million subscribers. He did a live stream about it.
Wow.
You don't even know how delighted I was. And I was so young at the time. I was literally jumping up and down, talking about it for the rest of the week, constantly looking at it because
Who was it? Who was it?
Epic Gardening, Kevin Espirito.
Oh, yeah.
I adore him absolutely. He's a great person. The only thing that I do found is that he is more tight when it comes to collaborations. There was this one time where we were going to do a collaboration and he just didn't meet the deadline. And so, but
you're dishing all the dirt tonight. You are.
He is very busy though. That I do give him. And something I do appreciate is he has his own company now, and he brought me along to be an affiliate for his company. That's where, or an ambassador, because he has two different types. I think an ambassador and an affiliate. I'm an ambassador, which is like you can only get it through invite. And so I was really happy about that. And I really would like to collaborate with him sometime. So that's like in the near future. But South Florida Sunshine Tropicals asks, how do you do with compost in Broward County? Well, here's the thing. I don't do compost. I talk about it a lot because it's a very good thing to do in the garden. But in my case, I don't, for two main reasons. One, I live in the city. So I have neighbors left and right. and building a compost pile is kind of more difficult because I don't have that much space really to dedicate to a
You could
compost.
pull out those banana plants. There's no excuse.
And second, I have tried doing it, and you don't even know the amount of rodents
I was just about to say,
that
yeah, I
it's
know, right?
the rodents are terrible, especially now because I used
Yeah.
to have a dog, so I've never seen rodents. But once he passed away, the rodents literally like made this their home. I'm like,
I mean, do the rodents eat your bananas? Do they climb up the tree and eat the
no,
bananas?
that's the thing. I'm like, these rodents are left and right.
They're,
They
they're,
eat
they're,
everything
they're
but
not
the
even
fruit.
good rodents. They're lazy ones.
Really, talk about that because they don't even do the effort. They're just there. They do
Yeah.
eat the mangoes though. When it comes down to the mango season, they eat a lot of mangoes.
I am actually growing melons this year, so hopefully in my
Oh,
polytunnel we
I
might get
actually
some of
did.
them.
Uh, I did actually grow a watermelon vine one time, and I had left to Mexico to visit my family after who knows how many years, and I
Yeah,
came back to rotten watermelons all over the place. It was so sad. I'm like, this is the first time I had a successful watermelon vine. And because we had so much rain while we were gone and
yeah.
they were on a tarp, they were just sitting in water. So
Oh,
I was like,
that's pants.
that was terrible.
I know.
I,
Let's
I
have a look at this.
it's very difficult when it comes down
I
to
feel
it.
like I'm on my chat. I was kept keeping an eye on the chat. I feel like
I am
because I
also
haven't been on, I haven't done a live for a few months because my
me.
lives normally are October, November, December, January, February. For that amount of time, I do half a year, mainly for the winter and autumn months, fall. Um, so I haven't been in this room for a long time. This is normally all full of seedlings, like tomato. The last time they were in here on the grow lights were the tomatoes in March. So I haven't actually been in this room for quite a while. So it's really strange to be back on a live. So I do kind of miss it. I was a little bit like, oh, if I come on here now, I'm gonna itch to do a live. You'll see me doing a live in a couple of weeks' time, I expect, or
Oh, that's
something.
really, really good. Yeah, I haven't seen you done it live in a while.
Yeah, normally I'm just too busy in the spring. Spring could never happen. Summer maybe a little bit, but just too busy. The growing season here is so short, but it's going really well. I noticed that yeah, you said about your partnership with Epic
Yes.
Gardening, yeah, and about the birdies beds and stuff. Like I've got quite a few. I think I got about 10 birdies. I got 24 beds, but 10 of them are birdies, and
Did you use
they
my
are really. No, I don't think it works here.
it works all over. If you buy it from their website, the code is for anywhere.
Yeah, I don't want to be
I
mean,
hope.
but it was actually cheaper to buy here. I don't know how much. I don't actually know how much birdies beds are in America. How
I
much is a normal standard? You know those maybe like a meter by a meter and a half or something. You know those quite small ones that I've got.
lucky for me.
They're probably about
Great.
oh god.
Let's see.
Let's have a look. In dollars. So they're about $136 a bed here,
Let me see.
I'd say.
Let me.
Yeah, ask us some questions, viewers.
Yeah, ask some questions.
Ask me anything.
A seed starting anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for example, something I love is their seed starting trays. Those have been the best seed starting trays I've ever used in my life. They're very durable. They're reusable. You can even stand on them and they won't break. I've stand on them before.
Are they similar to the? Is this from where? From birdies? From
This is from Kevin, his site. Birdie, I don't know how this system works, but all I know is that his company, Epic Gardening, is connected with Birdie's raised bed and then Botanical Interest.
yeah.
He's a new owner of Botanical Interest, so that's why he's connected to that.
Yeah, so we do something similar to these. They're from a company called ContainerWise, and I'd say probably 80% of them. They're expensive to buy at the start, but they're as tough as this plastic here. You know, like they last forever. So it's an investment, but
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, so for example, just to throw an example out there, a small raised bed, tall raised bed garden for here, it would cost close to $200.
See,
Um, with my discount code, you get 5% off.
no,
But
well, we have something here with the Birdies beds, and you can get 2 of those beds for. If you buy one, you can get another one half price. So I pay 150 British pounds for 2. So yeah, that's
But I
that's
think
quite a
they're
good
very
deal.
much worth it because of the fact that
Yeah,
they're high quality, they're easy to build, and they'll last forever. Like mines that I have in my garden, I tend to, because with food forestry, I never pull weeds because it's a nightmare. So I go through and I usually whip down the garden with the weed
yeah.
whacker. And you want to know
The
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 amount of,
weed whacker. Do you mean
yeah,
like a strimmer?
ah, here in the US it's called a weed whacker or a whipper.
Weed whacker. I'm worried about googling this now. Put the safe search on. Oh yeah, so that's what we call a strimmer.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
yeah,
an electric that goes.
yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay.
So I do that, and you want to know the amount of times I've accidentally hit these galvanized containers and they have not scratched, no nothing. It is
Yeah.
amazing. It is, and he's coming out with so many good products now. Seed starting trays.
Oh
He just
God, you're really trying to get him on this live, and yeah,
for
he's
real.
the best. He's the
He is
best.
awesome. Like Kevin,
Oh
if you're watching this, which I highly doubt you aren't, reach out.
yeah,
So
reach out.
you don't even know.
Make his day. Make his day. Bowties asked, Danny, did you manage to conquer all your mouse invasions? Yes, but I had mole issues as well. How is that hanging shelf doing? You know what? My hanging shelf in my polytunnel, I think you call them poly houses. It's been the best thing ever. Yeah, someone just said that you're on a US channel. Yeah, I know. I was just trying to work out what it was for the UK viewers. You're on so the floating shelf. It's been so much better because we have like a mice and these rats come in the mornings, and they just try and steal all my pumpkin seeds and beans and things. So having it floating on chains, they can't get up there. It's the best thing ever.
With me, I think the reason more why I didn't do a composting system was because once the rots came to my garden, they got so bad to the point where they started spreading to my neighbors next door. And she had come because me and my neighbor are so close. When I mean so close, I call her my mother, literally. She comes to my garden sometimes and she said, "Hey, what what do you have in mind of why they are appearing?" Because we've never had rodents. When I mean never, I mean we've never had them, and now they appeared. And then I told her, I'm like, she saw my composting bin, and then she said, I think that's what's the issue.
I mean, you're giving them somewhere to live. It's warm
Literally.
and it's food. I mean, who would not want to move into that? It's the best place for a
It's
rat.
free too.
Yeah.
And free food every day. So I just decided to remove it because I wasn't going to deal with that every single time and it get worse. And so right now I haven't seen them as common. Now what I do see now is raccoons and possums.
I'd love a raccoon.
The other day,
Everyone always says to me, like, what? I'd love a raccoon. We love them here.
I love
We
them.
don't get them.
I don't get near them, but I love them so much. But my neighbor actually sent me a video, that a ring cam video she got of a raccoon opening up a drawer that she has in the front of her house, because she had a cat and she had the food stored there, and the raccoon full blown opened that drawer that was locked
That's
and
amazing.
took the food out. I was like, these people are so smart. Okay, let's see. Bowtie asked, what's a mistake you've made in your garden that you now laugh about or learned the most from?
Never leave tools and bean canes and on the floor. So last year I left. I don't think you grow with them in America, but we use bamboo canes, 8 foot, maybe 210 or something centimeters long, bamboo canes for beans stuff. I left a pile on the floor, and I put my foot through it with my sandal sort of things on, and it pulled my trousers down, and well, my pants, as you call them, they were completely down in the garden, and I don't know how I did it, but yeah. So I've learned from that not to kind of leave things on the floor all the time. You'll see on my channel, it's very realistic. It can either look really, really nice, or it can look like I've just thrown plant pots everywhere. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's real
that
life. Sometimes things get in the way, and you just have to make sure the plants are out. I'll pick up the pots later; they'll be fine.
that's what I do every single time after filming a video. I'll pick up the pots later. I don't, because I'm like
Yeah.
so hot here that I literally like.
Do you think that's a boy thing as well, though? Because it's just like,
The thing
But
I
I don't know.
do now is I don't leave fertilizers or perlite or medmints outside. I used to be, because I have an issue with like I can't memory like I can't
Yeah.
think of things at the same time. And one of the things is I keep forgetting about these things. And I had bought like recent fertilizers. I went through and I stocked up my entire stash of
You
fertilizers,
left outside.
and I left them outside opened, like wide open. And it rained so bad that day. And then when the next day I walked out, I was like, what the heck smells like doo-doo? And so I walk through and I see all my fertilizers just filled with water. And I'm like,
I've done that.
amendments, everything gone. And the same thing goes with soil here. You can't have them get wet, because then it just builds up, and then insects and bugs and everything start
Yeah.
building there. So then I have to make sure that, one, my soil is covered, two, my amendments are put away and closed, because I'm not trying to buy more fertilizers. Because here, like for example, with Spomework Organic, I actually made a video on the 3 fertilizers you should use. One of the fertilizers I showcased was a Spoma Organic. I love them. However,
You
they
should sell cars. You'd be brilliant.
I have bought so many of their products, and majority of them have gone to waste because I left them outside open, and they're not cheap. They're not cheap. Here in the
No.
US, they're not cheap. But they're good. I always buy them because they're really, really good. So
You just need to look after more containers.
literally. So something Jay is mentioning, which is something I just
Yeah, I haven't seen this before.
YouTube chat. Crown icon and engagement points. The crown icon appears on the top of the chat for viewers who have earned points through various activities like chatting, sending super chats, etc. Who's number 1? Jay. 2, David from Bowtie Life Gardens, and who's number 3?
It's me, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think it's me.
I don't see a number 3. Ooh. The spot's open. Y'all take it. Oh, Shawnee Grows is number 3.
He stole it off me. I was number 3 at the start. How'd you get it back?
I don't know. I guess, but
I'm gonna try and steal that back now. Give me your crown back.
Give me the crown back. Yeah, I saw it. I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I've not seen it before, so it's a gamification of.
That's a very, very good point. South Florida Sunshine Tropical says, yeah, rats got into and peed in all my cabinet with organic fertilizer bags, and one ate the whole of the bottom of my fish emulsion plastic bottle. That I have seen a lot here as well. I don't know what's their obsession with it, but they tend to go through and demolish everything like that. I'm like, that's sad.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is very sad. Okay, let's see. It's a glamification of engagement on live stream chats. I just saw that because I was on David the Good's live stream yesterday, and that wasn't there. So it must be
there. I've never seen it before, so
me neither.
Danny, do you have a favorite underrated gardening tool or trick that most people overlook? Yes,
Legos.
I do, and funny enough, I've got one right here.
It's the Legos, yeah.
No, it's not. These are like famous. I'm not just saying that I've made these famous, but these are famous on my channel. I mean, viewers ask for these all the time, so you probably get these in the UK, but these are actually branded by me. Look, these are called GrowUp Dibbers. Is that the right way around?
It's yeah. No.
Is it the right way around though?
Yeah.
Or is that the right way around?
There you go. There you go.
That's the right way around. See. So yeah. So this is like a GrowUp Dibber. So whenever I go to the garden shows, people come to me and say, "Have you got a GrowUp Dibber?" So do you use these in the US?
That's actually, what do you use that for? Transplanting seedlings?
So yeah, no. So we make like a little hole there.
Oh, that.
Emmanuel, I'm gonna have to send you one of these.
I need you to. Yes.
I'll send you one for Christmas. And you just make the little holes. And,
yeah, I need I usually just use like a stick I break off with, like a dead stick.
God.
I just go and I'm done.
I want to see this on your channel.
I will definitely.
I'll send you a GrowUp Dibber. But I normally take. a big bundle of these.
Shanae still has your crown. Oh,
Just
Shanae's
got
now
my little
number 2.
Shin.
And
So do
Bo
you
has
say? So do
3.
you say that name is Shanae?
Or Shani? I don't know.
It'll be Shawnee.
Because I've seen it pronounced multiple ways. I
Yeah.
say Shanae, Shani. But she's
Yeah.
number 2.
But yeah, bow tie life. I would say this. I use this all the time. I remember someone once saying that they used it to stir their tea, and I thought that was the most ridiculous thing to use it.
Shani. Okay.
British, yes, for tea, but don't use the divot to stir tea.
Okay, both David said a Shani. Okay.
Shawnee. Yeah, that's what I
All right,
thought.
so
Shawnee.
Shani says, "What is your garden missing? What is in your wish list?" So I'll let you answer that first, and then I'll answer that.
What's it missing? Nothing. I can honestly say, I'm very lucky that I've got every. Oh no, I will change that because I would love to have a nice seating area, and I keep saying that I'm going to build this nice potting area, and yeah, I just thought I need one of those. I keep saying I'm going to have this like relaxing area, but I keep joking with my plot neighbor because he's got like a nice area now with a nice table and chairs. I just sit there when I want to have a rest. I says I may as well just use your sitting seating area, and then I got more space for vegetables. And he just laughs. But I always share my vegetables with him anyway. But yeah, I do want to have a nice seating area, and I want to have an open. I don't know if you. I don't know. I've never really seen many American channels where they do this. Like, have you ever seen like an open potting shed? So, do you ever actually have potting sheds either? So it's a very British thing, I think. It's like a shed, but where you pot all your plants and stuff up. You know, not a greenhouse, but they're really cute.
No,
And I want one, but I want it open at the front.
but not.
It looks a bit like a beach bar, but it's got seeds and pots on shelves behind. It's a bit like that.
So nice. Okay, for me on my end, so this is I've made a couple videos on this one as well. Is what is your garden missing? Some one of the plants that I absolutely love that I always have to grow year after year is hardy hibiscus. You may think hibiscus is a tropical plant. What are you talking about? A main thing I'm talking about here is hardy hibiscus, the dinner plate sized flowers. Those I am so obsessed by those flowers because they're so pretty. The plants are so pretty. Unlike the boring tropical hibiscus, hardy hibiscus are just phenomenal, and they come in a wide range. Or rose.
Do you mean like this? Do you mean like this?
Yes.
Oh, they're just like a normal flower, yeah.
The nerve.
They're not even called hardy. They're just called hibiscus, aren't they?
The nerve you have. Let me search up a particular.
They're about $25 a thing.
For here in Florida, they range depending on how you get them because I have to grow them bare root. I grow them usually bare root.
Yeah.
So let me see if I could display this image on the live stream because I love this one. Let's see. Oh, here. Let me add this one because this one was actually my favorite one. Let's see. Okay, there you go. So this one is called Blue Brulee, I think, or something like that. I love this one because it is a purplish lavender colored hibiscus. I love the growth habit. I loved it so much. But the thing is, since it's a cold hardy variety or species, it dies. We consider it an annual here. And so if you think about it, that's like $30 to $40. And one point I had a company who reached out to me and they wanted to do a whole series on all their hardy hibiscus, which I was, and that hibiscus was actually part of their summerific spice hibiscus. I think they unfortunately discontinued them because I think they unfortunately sold their company to a company which I'm not that pleased about. But
you love throwing shade, you
do. Because this company was so amazing, and then they literally just threw their company to a trash company. Anyways, I love their.
Was it Walmart? I'm joking.
Walmart is crazy. No, and so. But the only thing is that they die. Like they usually die back and then they come back year after year like a perennial, but they just don't come back. They just die. They just say, peace out, we're done. I'm like, okay, well, and I always want to grow more and more.
Bowtie's just said one thing we noticed when living in London last October was that your flower gardens in the UK were a lot more than what you see here in the US by a long shot. Even a tiny garden is
Very much.
So
Very much.
the British are renowned for, well, stealing plants from around the world, but also not just plants. In history we stole everything, but we are good at gardening, and flowers as well. Everyone likes to
Cottage
grow.
gardens.
That's why our channels grow so well. I think the UK channels is because we're all kind of in that same boat. Even if they're seasonal gardeners, or they're just there for the sun, summer. But yeah, I don't know. I've always wondered about American channels. I've said to you before, I'm there. The views are never there, and that I don't know. It's different here. Like we genuinely love gardening as well. Like tomorrow, I'm going to a garden centre with Lindu as the Feel Good Garden channel, and Cheryl from Instagram, Cheryl's Gardens. I'm going to give them a little shout out. And Cheryl might be actually watching. Hi, Cheryl, if you are watching. We're going to a garden centre tomorrow. Do you have garden centres in the US, like actual centres all for plants, or is it just like parts of the gardens?
They're here. Garden centers are plant nurseries. That's what we call them here.
Yeah, nursery.
Like I went to visit one the other day, my childhood nursery. I love them so much. And they're all about plants, nothing else.
Bowtie's asking the best. Bowtie, please come onto my lives in the autumn, because you ask the best questions ever. Danny, let's say your plants could vote. Which one would run for garden mayor, and which one would sabotage the election? I think who would run for mayor would probably be one of my cabbages or my runner beans. I think you call them pole beans. We love them here. Like, they are like one of our favorite things to grow, especially summer. And thanks, Jay, for sharing Linda's channel. She'll appreciate that. And who would sabotage that? Oh God, probably bindweed. Do you get bindweed in?
I gotta search that.
It's just bind weed, but I think it's related to the morning glory.
I was about to say that we grow. We like here. These are kind of considered weeds. Morning glories are considered weeds here, but I actually one point grew gorgeous.
Oh God, they're gorgeous, but they're the devil. It's the roots of this. They just don't die. So you just constantly dig in, and a little piece is left. It'll grow more plants. It's not what you want, because they choke. That's why they're called bindweed, because they just bind to the plants and try and kill
the moonflower, which the flowers grew huge and they were gorgeous, but the vine took over. The vine took over, absolutely. David said
saboteur would be the loofah. I'm curious why. Why? They're like a challenge to grow them here. I'm actually growing one. I managed to get two.
I actually did a mistake, and I grew like 3 plants on one vine or trellis. They are almost, imagine them like the bindweeds, except useful in a way. They grow very, very quickly. They just are a pain to remove, but they're very cool. I will say that. I'm planning to grow them again this summer because I love them, but it's like a hassle because I built this trellis, like a line trellis for them. And by the end of the season, they were like laying on the ground.
Oh no, we don't get that.
Very heavy.
We'll put them inside the polytunnel, and we might get 3 loofahs on the plant. And if your fingers crossed it's going to work, we don't know. I got a question to ask you actually, and maybe the viewers as well. If you could swap and move to the UK, would you do it to grow different things, or would you stay where you are? I mean, you'd have to get rid of bananas for a start. Get out of your mind.
I think I'm gonna stay here because I need to grow the food. That's the thing. I've been so obsessed.
But you grow loads of food here, though. Just it's not so much
bananas. Fruit. Come on now.
Yeah.
You guys are unhappy.
You can buy a banana. We're not unhappy.
Unhappy when you guys get bananas. You just said that you're not happy when you get bananas.
Well, I'm happy when I get bananas, but I just go to the store and buy them for like $1.
How dare you? How absolutely dare you?
Wow, God. Botai, I would love if Lufus did that year. That doesn't happen. We get lucky if we get a few, and it is an achievement if you can get a loofah to produce
I
a
still have
loofah.
mines, and the last time I grew it was like 2 years ago, and I still
Mm,
have loofahs left and right. I even gave
that's
some
right.
away. I'm planning to grow them. They're very easy to grow down here. Very easy.
Yeah, but then I suppose it's the other way around because I wouldn't want to move there either. It's too warm. It was 28 degrees centigrade. What's that in Fahrenheit? So it was 82 degrees the other day, and we were cooking. We were hating it. Ah,
That is actually good weather here.
that's like hell for us. Like, I'm not joking there. We couldn't sleep. I was tired in work the next day. It was just too warm. We had 2 fans on. We're just not used to the heat, so we don't like it.
Here,
I
like,
prefer cold weather.
if I tell you right now the weather here, let me see. It's 89 here plus humidity. Let's see what it feels like. Humidity is 58%. So it's terrible. And as a matter of fact, it's getting ready to rain. So after a rain or a shower, ooh,
Our humidity is, right now it's 56%.
close.
So we're there as well.
Just like how South Florida Sunshine Tropical says, no way, food forestry year.
But we're not. It's not always like that. This is because we're going into we're the cusp of summer now. But yeah,
And just like how
you
David
would
said,
die in our heat and all. I really would. But yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We don't have the infrastructure for hot weather, and also, like, our houses are not built for it either. So our houses are built more for the winter. So everything's insulated. There's insulation in all the roof to keep the heat in. So that when it gets warm, we can't get rid of it.
an oven.
It is an oven. So
That's true. David just said 56. Humidity is very low for Florida. Yes, it very much is. It very much is. So, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and accept a few more questions. I'd probably say 2 or 3. So this is the time to go ahead and ask your questions if you have some. It is already 3. We've been here for an hour, which is awesome. So if you have any last minute questions, feel free to ask now. So, any plans for the channel this summer?
My channel?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to build one of those potting sheds. That's definitely on the list. I've got 3 weeks off soon coming up in a week's time. I can't wait. So yeah, spoiler there. I'm hoping. I keep saying to all my viewers all the time, I'm gonna build it soon. I'm gonna build it soon. I've been so busy. Like, I've been so busy, but I still produce a video once a week, and it's about 30 minutes long, so that takes a long time. But yeah, if nobody's subscribed, come along and subscribe. Come and see my channel. I'm like this all the time. A bit of a, I don't know what you would call it, a bit of a plonker. That's all we were saying. But yeah, probably that. I've got an automatic watering system in my polytunnel now, so that waters everything. It is a game changer, honestly. So it's so clever as well that it connects to my phone. So you connect to the Wi-Fi if you want it to, and if it gets too hot in there, it gives more water. In the spring, it can mist them and spray all the seedlings and all. It's very, very clever. But I've got another system that I've got now. I want to put in to water all my. Didn't you say before that you grew potatoes? Didn't you say this before? I'm sure you did on my live. Yeah, so we grow potatoes really well here, so I want to have a nice watering system for those as well.
I'm actually planning to make a video on that too, because something like how we were explaining with David the Good was that here in Florida, you can't expect to get so much potatoes from our beds because we just can't. It just doesn't give because our climate and everything. You can successfully grow almost like if you think about it as mini potatoes, but definitely I'm in plans of making another video for that because I had the best time growing them. They're so easy to grow.
Well, if you want me to come on there, we can collab on a potato video if you want. That sounds like fun.
Definitely.
I was thinking about guests that you could have on your channel.
Please, yeah. For any viewers here, if you have any gardener who you watch that could be reachable, please make sure to email me their channel link so then I can reach out to them because I'm looking for more gardeners to bring on to
I mean, you could have Tony from Simplified Gardening. He'd come on. He could talk about potatoes and compost and.
I need to contact him though.
Yeah.
Like for example, South Florida Sunshine Tropicals. I know she's a channel, so I definitely would consider having her onto
Ooh,
the
I'm
show.
gonna look at South Florida Sunshine Tropicals because I've
And
not.
My Food Forest Journey. Are you a channel? Can you please verify that for us? Because
Yeah, if you're a channel, type the word YouTube in
and if you're
capitals so
interested
I
in
kind
joining,
of know.
and you should just listen. Especially, I would love to build a. I was actually seeing about this.
Build a community, Emmanuel. Build a
Right, build a
community.
community. There's something I've always dreamed of has been making a conjoint channel with the gardener. Of course, after some time, like how I've seen some gardeners do, and it's just to like make
Yeah.
videos, which is really. We
Why
should
don't
post the link.
um why don't you consider having a like a live like I do where there's 4 people and then I'll come on and then someone else and someone else.
I feel like that will probably be more for the after I kind of give each gardener their
Mm.
showcase because I
Yeah.
want to make sure that I have that set out. So seems to be My Food Forest Journey is the channel. So make sure to go subscribe to them.
South Florida Sunshine. I can't seem to click on it to join
Turmeric
it.
Harvest, that is awesome.
I'm number 3 on the crowns now, by the way. That's what I
Oh, we
think.
love that. We love you took the spot.
South Florida Sunshine Tropicals. Let's try have a look. If you want
Hey,
me to subscribe to your channel, let me know anyone and I'll subscribe.
My Food Forest Journey. If you are interested, please email me and I'll have you on the show as well. Thank you, Jay and David. They said that they'll
Right.
pass your email. Oh, David, I actually emailed you. I was
I
just
just subscribed to South Florida Sunshine Tropicals.
I emailed you. Check your email. Please do so because I need a response from you soon. David said no. I'm number 3. He took.
God, I'm being God. People keep stealing my spot.
So definitely, anybody who's interested in joining the show, I'm gonna leave my email down in here. Please email me, and we'll schedule a date where you could go ahead and join us.
Jay, look at Jay Dixon as well. That I can link you to Tony. Emmanuel, I will make Tony do it. That's the thing. The other day, he was supposed to do me a video for, it was a last minute thing for Freddie. And I messaged him saying, "Are you busy?" And it was for his birthday. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm in the bath." I was like, "Right, you need to get out of the bath. You need to go downstairs and film." And he did. He got out of the bath. He went downstairs into the garden, put a t-shirt on. You could see that he was still wet. And he said happy birthday to him. And it was because it was like a last minute thing that Freddie's dad asked me to do.
That's what I saw that, and that was really really
I
cool.
would have asked you, but I looked online and it said that you were on. I worked at the time that it would use asleep. It wouldn't. It would never have come in the
What
morning.
time was it?
Oh, it was. It was like it said you were. It said when I clicked on your Instagram, it said you was last online like 5-6 hours ago. So I just presumed you was asleep.
It shows my activity on Instagram. I thought I turned that off.
Maybe over here it tells us. Why do you hide your activity? What are you hiding from the viewers?
No, something that I can't realize. I had my activity on. When I would reach out to gardeners, they would know when not to respond and when to respond. If that makes sense, they would like kind of like shadow me if they saw my activity on, in which I was like, okay, we'll leave you as a surprise. But we'll see. But
yeah, if any of your viewers are American and come along as well and show your face on my channel because I'd like to subscribe to some new channels as well. I don't recognize many of these, so if you are a channel, let me know and I will subscribe back as well.
And South Florida Sunshine Tropicals, please remind me where you're located because I'm definitely considered having a gardener come down or me going to a gardener because I want to make a collaboration in person with a gardener. Sleeping.
South Florida Sunlight says, "Oh, she wants you to go on her lives. I'll come on your lives as well." South Florida Sunshine, let me know. I'll come on your lives. I may as well. But yeah, she wants you to go on there, Emmanuel. So that'd be good. Or him. Do you see the comment? Yes, no. I want you to come on my lives on Friday night.
Where? Did I miss it? Oh, here. Hold on. Yes, I want you to come on my. That's really. I did not know you did live streams. Yeah. But we literally just met like a couple of days ago. So
oh, that's cool. But yeah, if you want me to come on as well, I'm desperate to come on the lives. But yeah, let me know. I mean, I'm always free.
Oh, Palm Beach County, not that far. We'll see. We'll work something out if you'd like to. We'll work something out. I definitely want to meet you in person. Okay. So yeah, this is such a good comment. Okay, Shani, I am working on watch hours. I do weekly gardening streams and monthly garden tours. That's something I agree with because my watch hours are so trash. That's why I decided to do the podcast. You know, you have to have 4,000.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about this.
You want me
So
to tell
when you said earlier on your watch hours are trash, like what you
because
mean
they
per
go
month?
down.
You mean per month?
Yes, no, per day actually. So my watch hours is in a year span, right? So it says in a year you have to have 4,000 watch hours in order to qualify, right?
In a
So
year.
yeah, in a year. So once the year passes,
So how
like
many watch hours do you get in a year?
so right now I'm record at 2,077. Not even close to it.
You're
So
funny, you are.
I'm trying to build them
I
all.
don't get why that is though, because you have got very informative videos, very very informative. I'm
Hey.
not gonna. I won't tell you live how many I get because you'll do that thing where you go ah. Yeah,
So
but
that's something I definitely need.
you definitely need to up your watch hours because you
Because
need four. Is it 4,000 in a year? Is it a
4,000
year? I
and
remember when I first.
3,000. And then it randomly one day I woke up and it went boom to 2,000. I was like, ain't no way.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Yeah, you it used to be 3,000, I think. Oh, maybe I might in the UK it used to be 4,000. I don't know if it's changed, but I remember when I first started, I was thinking I'm never gonna hit 4,000 watch hours.
Boom, you're
It
surprised.
does get on. Yeah, it changes though. Once you get into that little niche and you've grown a channel and you've grown a community, and they're the ones that are loyal and they'll push your
Yeah.
channel on.
And I've
You
seen that I
know,
have constant returning viewers now, especially that YouTube is just now starting to push my videos a little bit more.
that's good. Yeah,
I do
you'll
have
get it.
playlists, South Florida Sunshine Tropicals. I do have some playlists, so we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get to wrapping up. I love seeing.
Yeah.
So if my food forest journey and South Florida Sunshine Tropicals, please make sure you email me. I would like to see if there's anything we can work out in collaboration wise because I love my Florida gardeners.
I
I
just
do Florida
subscribed to
community.
Shawnee Grows as well while I'm there.
Love that.
So subscriber, thank you.
So let's definitely follow one another. I love building a community like that. And now look, David just said, I'm one. He's now the number one. Is that going to be a fighter now?
I've not even got a number anymore. Shawnee is number 3.
Jay, and then Shani is number 3. Interesting.
Damn it.
All right.
Shawnee, I just subscribed to you, and this is how you repay me. Steal my crown.
Alrighty, so thank you all so I love this. So definitely make sure to go ahead and join us next week for Gardener Scott, in which we'll be actually talking about gardening online. We'll be talking just about what we're talking about today. So definitely a huge shout out to Danny for joining with us on this live stream.
You paid me. You paid me. That's why. You paid me, right?
Well, I did pay him. I did. Anyway, so yeah, definitely go subscribe to him. Although most likely everybody here's already subscribed to him.
No, I hope. Well, I hope they're not, and I hope they will.
And so definitely make sure to check out his channel, check out his videos. As you heard, he'll be doing live streams again. So make sure you do so. And make sure to follow everybody else who is in the live chat. And as a channel, we'd love to support one another. And if once again, if you're a small channel would like to join onto the live stream, please do so. And if you're interested in collaboration, in which I've been looking for doing, please email me as well. So make sure to leave a like underneath this live stream. And the replay will be available if you would like to replay and watch it for anybody who just joined us. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye everyone.